Hello and welcome to the Exploring Band-in-a-Box 2013 tutorial video. In this video, we're going to take a close look at many of the exciting new features in Band-in-a-Box 2013. For those of you who may be new to Band-in-a-Box though, we'll first start off with a quick explanation of what Band-in-a-Box is and what it can do. Band-in-a-Box is an intelligent automatic accompaniment program. You can hear and play along to many song ideas and go from nothing to something in a very short period of time with Band-in-a-Box as your on-demand backup band. Just type in the chords for any song using standard chord symbols like G minor 7, C7, or B flat major 7. Choose the style you'd like, and Band-in-a-Box does the rest. Band-in-a-Box automatically generates a complete professional quality arrangement of piano, bass, drums, guitar, strings, and other instruments in a wide variety of styles. And that's exactly what we're listening to right now. This song was created simply by typing in these chords, picking this jazz funk with horn section style, setting the tempo, and pressing play. And that goes for everything you're hearing, including this new killer horn section. And this style is a real style. All of the instruments you are hearing are real tracks, which means they are actual performances by real top studio musicians. And they can play any chord progression you enter. With Band-in-a-Box 2013, we've added the Pick Best Soloist RealTracks feature. This is a new menu option when you press the Soloist button. Add Best RealTracks Soloist to Soloist Track. This new dialog shows you the soloists that best match the genre, tempo, and feel of your song, listed from best match to worst match. So for example, our song is a 16th based song with our tempo set to 110 beats per minute. So at the very top of the list, you can see that here's an electric piano soloist, here's an alto sax soloist. As you go down the list, the soloists don't match as well. For example, these are swing 8th soloists, which don't match the groove of our current song. If our song was jazz swing 8ths, these would be at the top of the list. You can also choose whether you want chording, background soloists, or just straight ahead soloists to display in the list. You can also filter the list, so if I only want to see saxophones, that's easy to do. And I'll pick this alto sax soloist, performed by Eric Marienthal. And now we have him wailing over this great band and horn section. Just to stress the point that everything you are hearing was generated by Band-in-a-Box, I'll type in some completely different chords here. I'll change bar 1 to B flat major 7, A minor 7 flat 5 at bar 3, D7 at bar 4, G minor 7 at bar 5, and A flat 7 at bar 7. I'll completely change the key to the key of E, and when I press play, we can see that it's playing this completely different progression, including the soloist we picked with the Best Soloist feature. There are similar options on the instrument radio button to choose Best All Real Tracks, that will show all the real tracks sorted by best to worst match for the current style, and Best Chording Real Tracks. There are also new lists of favorite real tracks and real drums. These are recently used real tracks and real drums which appear in these menus, as well as in the Real Tracks picker, the Real Drums picker, or in any of the Choose Best dialogues. Band-in-a-Box 2013 introduces SoundCloud Integration. This lets you upload your own original compositions easily to the SoundCloud.com service. SoundCloud.com is a popular web service that lets users upload their original songs for others to hear. You can access the SoundCloud features in Band-in-a-Box either from the File menu, the Wave button, or the SoundCloud button. Your song will get uploaded in the audio format that you choose, and I'll pick M4A. If you don't have a SoundCloud account, you can sign up for one here, or you can just log into your own account. Then you upload the song. And now you have a link to share it with all your friends. With Band-in-a-Box 2013, we've added new high-quality or high-Q sounds. These are new instrument sounds which are used in conjunction with IK Multimedia's SampleTank, which is included free with Band-in-a-Box 2013. These high-Q sounds make the MIDI tracks, both regular and MIDI SuperTracks, sound much better. The song we're listening to right now is using high-Q sounds for both the piano and the strings part, and they're joined by a RealTracks acoustic guitar. We can see by right-clicking on the piano that we have the acoustic grand piano high-Q sound selected here, and we have chamber strings selected on the strings track. And if we look in the synth dialog, we can see that SampleTank has been applied to both of these tracks. To get SampleTank working, you simply install it using the SampleTank 2.5 setup installer included with Band-in-a-Box 2013. You go through the steps which include installing both SampleTank as well as the IK Multimedia Authorization Manager. You then have to sign up for a free account at ikmultimedia.com, where you'll get a free authorization code, which you'll use with the Authorization Manager to authorize SampleTank. Once that's all done, it will be available to you in Band-in-a-Box, and you pick the high-Q instrument simply by right-clicking on a MIDI or MIDI SuperTracks track. Another new feature is the ability to copy tracks to any other tracks. For example, say I want to duplicate the strings track so I can double it with another sound. I can go to Edit, Copy, Move Tracks. The source track will be strings, and in the past you've only been able to move it to the melody or soloist track, but now you can move it to any track. So I'll copy that track to the bass track. First, it automatically freezes this bass track, so the material we moved there will be safe from regeneration. And we have exactly the same material on the bass track as on the strings track. So as we saw, the strings track used the chamber strings high-Q sound. So if we want a really lush strings part, we can use a different high-Q sound on this new track. You can select it as I showed you by right-clicking on the track, or you can also select it from the mixer. And for this duplicate track, I'll pick Movie Strings. And now we get an even fuller strings part. The high Q instruments get loaded automatically with the MIDI SuperTracks, but when you load them, Band-in-a-Box gives you the choice of whether or not you want the associated high Q sound. Also, for any MIDI track with a high Q instrument on it, you can always simply remove it in the right-click menu by selecting No Preset Wanted. Artist Performance Tracks is a new feature with Band-in-a-Box 2013 where you can have external audio tracks, either WAV or WMA, play on any track in Band-in-a-Box. In the past, you have only been able to have a single audio track. To get the feature to work, simply name the audio file the same as the Band-in-a-Box song, but with space and then the name of the track after it. For example, if I had mysong.sgu, then mysong space piano.wma, and mysong space soloist.wave in the same folder, the tracks would appear as artist performance tracks in that song on the piano and soloist tracks, and they appear with an orange color. What we're listening to here, however, is a song from one of our artist performance sets, with performances by top studio musicians playing on the melody track. These are great for listening or for learning from the pros, since notation, and tab for the guitar ones, shows for the performances. With Band-in-a-Box 2013, we include over 60 artist performances, 20 guitar performances by Oliver Gannon, 20 sax, clarinet, and flute performances by Jack Stafford, and 26 Celtic fiddle tunes, performances by champion fiddler Daniel Lapp. Set 1 features traditional jazz and bossa, with saxes, flutes, and guitars, and we're listening to one of these right now, an alto sax. These performances play a melody, then 2 choruses of soloing, with the first chorus simpler and the second more advanced. It then ends with the melody played again. So what you get is a complete performance like you'd hear in a jazz club. Incidentally, there are many handy new buttons on the main screen, including this one to visually transpose for non-concert instruments. For example, this is an alto sax we're listening to, and we're in the key of concert C, but we can quickly switch to viewing for alto sax. And everything is now transposed visually to A, so if you're playing alto sax along with this, the notation is correct for you. Set 2 features smooth jazz, Dixieland, and gypsy jazz, and here's an electric guitar performance of a smooth jazz tune. You can see the tab here, making it an excellent learning tool, as well as the on-screen guitar fretboard. And, of course, you can slow these artist performances down the same way you can with RealTracks. So I'll bring this down to 90, where it might be easier to learn for a beginner. Set 3 features 26 Celtic fiddle tunes, performed by champion fiddler Daniel Lapp. This is the Banks of Ireland reel, backed up by acoustic bass, guitar, Boron hand drums, and new with Band-in-a-Box 2013, Irish bouzouki. There's also an option to save track as performance file. This takes freezing a track one step further and saves the audio itself, so you can send your Band-in-a-Box song to your friend who will be able to play that track without needing to have the RealTracks installed. New with Band-in-a-Box 2013, the lead sheet window can now be resized. As you resize the window, all of the elements within the window resize as well. Another new feature with Band-in-a-Box 2013 is the introduction of a print to PDF feature, allowing you to save your printouts directly as a PDF file. During the Band-in-a-Box installation, the option will be present to install this driver, so make sure that it is checked during the install. From the print dialog, simply press Print to PDF, then choose your file name for the PDF. New with Band-in-a-Box 2013, there are enhancements to the drop station. The drop station is the drop button at the top left of the screen where you drop a track after dragging it to get an audio or MIDI version of the track. And as an example, I'll drag the bouzouki on the piano track to the drop station. When it's ready, it turns green. There is now a right-click menu allowing you to copy the resulting file to a folder, open that folder, stop the DAW plugin mode, upload to SoundCloud.com, and save to a DropBox folder. If you use the DropBox service, you can easily save audio to DropBox without leaving the main Band-in-a-Box screen. And I'll do that now. And there's also a menu option to open that folder. And we can see the file we made, and also see that they now have better names than in previous versions of Band-in-a-Box, listing the full name of the RealTrack style. Here, bouzouki, rhythm, Celtic reel, even 16ths, 110. The popular Band button is enhanced with Band-in-a-Box 2013, with many more styles and categories listed, including submenus for subcategories. Many new reel styles have been made, and many are displayed on this menu. The instruments used in each style are displayed, giving a thumbnail summary. Example, bass, piano, guitar, brushes, alto sax, soloist. Submenus have been added for various genre subcategories. For example, the Jazz Styles list has submenus for subgenres jazz swing, bossa and Latin, Cuban, smooth jazz, and gypsy jazz. A campfire guitar subgenre is added, with many reel styles of simple strumming guitars or small acoustic combos that you might see gathered around a campfire, such as 2 acoustic guitars and an upright bass. Also, a bluegrass 8th note based style has been added. Our bluegrass styles are typically 16th note based, so that a typical bluegrass tempo would be 130 beats per minute. But some people prefer the bluegrass styles to be 8th note based, with tempos around 260. We have made a BG Band 8 style that has 8th note based RealTracks. I'll pick that, and then I'll load the demo so you can see it in action. The Song Form Maker, added in Band-in-a-Box 2013, allows you to define sections of a song, A, B, C, etc., and then rearrange the song by simply typing the form you want. For example, AA, BA, BA, CA. You can revisit the dialog to change the form at any time. You should note that the sections you define for your song are completely independent of the A and B part markers in Band-in-a-Box. For example, I have a song loaded here with 3 distinct 8-bar progressions, which could be considered 3 sections of the song. This song also has a MIDI melody, and I have a high Q sound loaded for it, the classic rock electric guitar. If I go into the song form dialog, I can then start designating my sections. Section A will be bar 1 and will last for 8 bars. B will be bar 9 and will last 8 bars. And C will be bar 17 and will last 8 bars. And you can see that as I add those, the chords for the sections appear here, giving me a good overview of what the sections will be. I can now put in the song form I want. I'll make this AAB AAC and press Generate Form. And we can see that in less than a second, we have our new song form. A, B, A, C. And it's changed the numbers here to reflect that, still maintaining exactly the same chords and melody for the 8-bar sections. And I'll play a little bit of that. And if I re-enter that dialog, we can see that it's kept the correct sections for A, B, and C to match our original. And we can change the form as much as we like. For example, A, B, C, A, C, C. Incidentally, as I mentioned, this is the high Q classic rock electric guitar sound, but I've also got it going through amplitude to give it a country rock edge. New with Band-in-a-Box 2013, pressing the Wave button shows a menu that allows you to quickly save the song as WAV, WMA, MP3, MP4, or M4A. This has options for saving audio as well as sending to SoundCloud. There's a new feature for URL links to web demos. Every style has a web demo available. You can click on the web demo button in the style picker to hear the demo. If you'd like to have the link to the demo for use in your browser or email, etc., you can shift-click on the web demo button. This copies the URL link to the clipboard, and you can then paste it into your browser, etc. This is a great way of letting your friends know about the great new RealTracks in Band-in-a-Box 2013. When entering chords on the chord sheet, there are now shortcuts available for entering rests over a range of bars. Instead of typing a new chord, if you type H followed by a number, it will take the rests and holds in your current bar and apply them over that number of bars. So for example, there's a period BDS at bar 1. The period means hold, and the BDS means that bass, drums, and strings tracks should ignore the hold. So basically it means piano and guitar tracks should hold. If I type H4, these holds have now been copied over these 4 bars. If you just type H by itself, it copies those shots and holds over all bars until the next part marker. So I'll try that now instead. If there's not already a shot hold designation for a bar, there's still an easy way to get the same results, simply by typing in a number at the end of the string when entering the chord. So for example, there's nothing currently at bar 9, so I'll type in the same chord, F sharp minor, and I'll enter holds here, maybe dot B, D, S, G. So only the piano will hold this time. I'll then type 8 at the very end. So it entered the new shots and holds for bar 8, and also applied those to the following 8 bars. Let's check out how that sounds. You'll also note that some bars have red squares drawn around them, which means there are specific settings applied to those bars. I'll use the handy new bar settings button to view one of these bars. There's an F5 on the button because that's also the keyboard shortcut. We can see there's a real drums change set at this bar. There's a handy new way to see a complete summary of all bars that have settings like this by pressing Print Summary. This opens a text report with all the bar changes in the song. And we can see that this song contains volume changes at 2 places in the song, and real drums changes in 4 places. This summary can be accessed from the song memo dialog. By request, a Jazz Swing RealTracks has been created that plays the simplest bass lines for jazz swing, with half notes, often root and fifth, in the A section, and quarter notes only in the B section. These are the styles here, with variations that play half notes at A, quarter notes at B, and then variations with only half or only quarter throughout. In addition to that, many more RealTracks have the simpler option available. If there's an S in the simpler available column in the RealTracks picker, that style has a simpler option. Simpler can mean less busy for some styles, and for others it can mean less complex voicings and fewer chord extensions. To group together the styles with simple options, click on the column to sort by that column. And we can see that all of these styles have simple options. And to use the simple variations, simply put a check in this checkbox. There are also many more styles that now have a DI option as well. These are versions of many of our guitar, bass, and pedal steel RealTracks that were simultaneously recording the direct input of the instrument as well as the amp. The RealTracks previously played as recorded through the amp, which is a recording of the tone that the artist set for the instrument, but with the DI options you can create your own sound by using your own effects, including IK Multimedia's Amplitude, which is included with Band-in-a-Box. In the same way as the simple styles, you can sort by this column to group together all of the RealTracks with DI options available. And to use the DI option, simply put a check in this checkbox. Band-in-a-Box 2013 has added an option for RealTracks and Real Drums to preserve the original level of the audio, and not reduce it to match the lower levels of MIDI tracks. This is useful while rendering and transferring files to a digital audio workstation, or DAW. To use this, go to the RealTracks Preferences and deselect Reduce Volume of RealTracks to match MIDI. This can also be used in combination with the new Flat, Dry, and Center menu option added to the combo radio button menu. This sets the song to flat, all volumes set to 90, which is the level where the mixer doesn't alter the volume levels at all. The reverb level for all instruments is set to 0, or dry. And all panning is set to 0, or center. If these two things are done, then there will be no alteration to the original audio files for the RealTracks and RealDrums, which is optimal for importing into other digital audio workstations. The song file, when played in Band-in-a-Box, will not sound balanced mix-wise, but it gives you the most control over the sound when exporting to other DAWs. There are many handy new buttons added to the various Band-in-a-Box 2013 toolbars. These include the non-concert transpose button we looked at earlier, which shows a menu to quickly transpose to and from concert to other instruments like alto, tenor, trumpet, etc. The Song Form button, which we looked at earlier, which launches the Song Form Maker dialog. Save as Style, which saves a style with the current instruments. This feature was included in previous versions of Band-in-a-Box, but now also includes saving MIDI SuperTracks that you may have added to your song, and also saves the correct volume in the style, which is based on the volume you are hearing when you play your current song. The F5 bar settings button that we looked at earlier, which launches the F5 bar settings dialog. The Woodshed Tempo button, which launches the dialog to set Woodshed Tempo, which increases tempo with every loop of playback for practicing purposes. There are new Undo and Redo buttons. The SoundCloud button that we looked at earlier, which allows you to upload songs to soundcloud.com. In addition, the Play, Loop, and Replay buttons have been renamed to more accurately describe what they do. The Play button is renamed Generate and Play to show that it generates a new Band-in-a-Box arrangement every time you press this, and then plays the song. The Loop button, which plays a selected loop, has been renamed Play Loop to indicate that it will start playback if you're currently in stop mode. And the Replay button is now called the Play button. It plays a Band-in-a-Box arrangement without regenerating the parts. This is the handiest button to use on a regular basis, as it will regenerate only if you've made changes, but otherwise it will play right away, saving you the time Band-in-a-Box takes to regenerate parts. And I'll use this button to play the song I have loaded, which is a great place to say thank you very much for joining us for this Exploring Band-in-a-Box 2013 video tutorial, and we hope you enjoy all of the exciting new features.